Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Coach Therapy Podcast. You're getting ready to watch an episode that says episode 2 because I did record this thinking that it would be episode 2. And I decided not to upload it, and I uploaded a different episode. And now I feel like it's the time to talk a little bit more about taking care of yourself. And I really want you to just think about as you listen to this episode, how do you take care of yourself? The way that you have always taken care of yourself may not be the way that you need to continue to take care of yourself. What do you need in this season? Enjoy episode 5 of the Coach Therapy Podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and I am so excited that you decided to tune in today. We're going to take a journey through vulnerability so that we can reach clarity, healing, growth, and success. You're going to learn some things about you. You'll learn some things about me. But most importantly, you will receive tools every episode that will help you to become better every single day. Enjoy Coach Therapy. Hello, welcome to episode 2 of the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and can I just start off by saying thank you? Thank you for tuning in. I want to thank everyone who tuned into the very first episode on last week, and thank you for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time. I talked last week about getting out of my own way. And that's what it required for me to get started on the podcast. And so, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. And that is perfectly fine. And I want whomever is thinking about starting something new, use me as an example that it doesn't have to be perfect to get started. It'll get better as you go along, but you just got to get started. And so here I am with episode 2 of the podcast. And even at episode 2, it was difficult today to get started. It was difficult because I was in my head like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? And, okay, I want it to be so good. And it's like, be present, show up. You're enough. What you have to say is valuable. Like sometimes we got to give ourselves a little pep talk. And we're not going to always feel like showing up, and we're not going to always feel like we're at our best when we're showing up, but we have to show up. I think about a couple weeks ago, I had my niece here with me, and she's on summer break, and I found a summer camp to put her and my nephew in. And the night before summer camp, my niece felt really nervous, and she's 5, right? So she's a 5-year-old, and she felt super nervous. And she was like, Auntie, I said, yes. So what's up? She was like, I don't think I want to go to summer camp. And I said, why? And she was like, because I don't know. I don't know if I'll like it. I said, why don't you think you'll like it? She said, I don't know, Auntie. I think that maybe I should bring everybody something to summer camp, and then maybe they'll like me. And I said, no, absolutely not. You are enough just the way you are. You don't have to bring them anything to make them like you. You just have to show up. And she began to smile with that affirmation. But I took that same conversation and I'm like, wait a minute. I just have to show up. I am enough. Right. And sometimes I have to tell myself that same speech like, girl, you are enough. Just show up. Show up. Own who you are. And a lot of times we find ourselves in positions where we're like looking for something else to add before we present ourselves, and we show up. You are enough. Just the way that you are, enough. Your gift is enough. And so I'm affirming you today that you're enough. You are enough. And sometimes we just don't feel like enough, and that's okay. We have some of those days we like, can't tell me nothing. And then we got some of those days where we gotta like drum ourselves up. So this is me drumming you up. I had to drum myself up today. And so here I am. And I'm ready and I'm showing up as me. And that's enough. Right? So I just wanted to share that with you because it could be tough, right? It could be tough. We get in our own way, we get in our head a lot. And sometimes we just have to be reminded like it's all right. You got this. And you do. All right. So let's get into the real stuff for today, which is, this is my session today. I'm inviting y'all to join this session with me so that I can be vulnerable. Every session, every episode is about vulnerability. And we're going to lead with vulnerability because I understand that we live in a world where we're not vulnerable. We're not vulnerable with our emotions. We are hiding from ourselves a lot of times. We are just trying to get the approval and acceptance of others. And, that's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You have to really open up. Don't hide from yourself. Like, give yourself room to really say, what's going on with me? Because that's how you get better. That's how you heal. That's how you grow. And I always tell my clients when I'm in a session that I only can help you at the level of your vulnerability. So, whatever you are hiding from me, I cannot help that part of you. And so I live by that. I can only help myself at the level of my vulnerability. So I can't hide the parts of me that don't feel good and hide the parts of me that are painful from me, because then I keep myself from growing and evolving and becoming the best version of me. I owe it to myself to be open and honest. You owe it to you to be open and to be honest and to put it all out there for you. And I'm not saying put it all out there for people. So let me be clear, because sometimes there are people we can click on social media and people are being very transparent. And when I see that, I understand that everyone does not have a safe place to release, and they still need to release. So I'm not passing judgment on people that choose to release one way or the other. What I will say is I encourage everyone to find a safe place where you can release. Um, get you a coach, a therapist, a counselor, whatever you need, and find safety in where you release, where you decide to be vulnerable, because everybody cannot handle your vulnerability. Everybody is not equipped for your vulnerability. And you can become further damaged when you're vulnerable with the wrong people. So I want to be clear as we talk about vulnerabilities is that we understand that the safety around vulnerability is also very, very important. Very important. And so today I would like to share my truth, right? Um, my truth just around self-care. We talk about self-care a lot, but I've learned that self-care for me can be forced sometimes. And what I mean by that is that I usually reach a point of exhaustion before I really implement the self care. As someone who really helps people and provide a lot of assistance, I can sometimes lead with the needs of other people. Am I proud of that? Yes and no. I love who I am and the way that my heart is, and I love the safety that I create for other people. But I'm not proud of the moments when I have put my needs on the back burner. Sometimes we have to be mindful of our capacity and mindful of what we need before being what someone else needs. And I realize that it's difficult for me to own that because sometimes when you love something so much, you do it without thinking. Like for all my people with like a big heart, you can just give without even thinking about it. You just because that's who you are. But you never really check in with yourself until you need and you don't have. And that's not just financially, that could be the givers of love, time, attention. We can run empty when we are not giving it to ourselves, and in giving it to ourselves, here's the honesty and making sure that we take care of ourselves. It is also tapping into your resources that are safe for you, the resources that replenish you, the resources that speak into your life and pour into you. That for someone like me, that's what I'm speaking to when I need to be filled up. Like, why am I allowing myself get to the point of exhaustion before I'm like, whoo, let me call one of my friends, or let me call my therapist or my coach or whomever, right? To get filled up. Why reaching the point of exhaustion before I take care of me? And I am learning on this journey is that I need to be proactive, that I need to be mindful of my cup. Is my cup full? Where am I with how I'm feeling? Because I remember I had gotten to a place where I had grown so accustomed to meeting the needs of other people that I never shared my needs with people that genuinely cared about how I was doing. You have to be mindful and accountable. Are you being open and are you being honest with what you need? Because there are people that love you that want to meet your needs, but they don't even know how because you are so occupied with being what everybody else need that you forget to even mention yourself. Have I been guilty? Absolutely. Am I changing it? I sure am. I'm like, hold on a second, because now I can pick up the phone and call people and say, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm thinking about. What do you think? How can you support me? It's fine, because that is the part of taking care of me. Self care looks like different things depending on your role, the season of your life that you are in, whatever your needs are. You know, it's one thing about me is I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna make sure that when I step outside that I look presentable and all that. So I could say that, oh, going to get my hair done, my nails done, that's self-care. Yes, it is. However, that's something that I'm going to make sure that I do. So the way that my self-care is set up, is a little bit different. It may not just be a trip to the spa for me. Self-care for me may be me going to my mom and dad's house, just being a daughter, just being Quinny. Self-care for me might mean that I'm not going to be Coach Q today. There is different forms of self-care, and I think now I know better that I make sure, let me just chill. Let me just go kick it with people and laugh and have a good time, because that is a form of self-care for me. I want you to explore, what does that look like for you, because the worst thing that we can do is really allow ourselves to get worn out and beat down because we don't know how to take care of ourselves, or we wait until we're exhausted. We wait until our bodies say, yo, chill out, sit down, take a break. How about just being proactive on it? Because it's not enough to like say, this is what I do for everybody and this is how I take care of everybody, And meanwhile, you are over here suffering. That's not fair to you. Treat yourself accordingly. I've learned that we set the tone for how others treat us with the way that we treat ourselves. And if I'm only taking care of myself once I am full blown exhausted and irritable and frustrated, then people are just gonna pull from me and push and pull from me and push into people are not concerned about you saying when. They like, as long as you say, oh, just I can take. And now it's just like, whoa, here's my boundary. For me, this ain't even for them. Boundaries have nothing to do with the other person. This is for me. If I set a boundary, it's so that I can be accountable to what I need. And as it relates to this topic, for me, it's self-care. I have not always taken care of myself the way that I was supposed to. And I'm learning, because I promised myself I don't want to be the person that helps everybody but live with depression. No, I have too many tools for that. And the way I ensure that I don't become that person is by really taking care of myself, by acknowledging when I have a need, by tapping into the resources, by creating a circle of safety for me. I tell people all the time, I'm Coach Q in real life. What does that mean? Is the same way that my clients rely upon me, my family relies upon me in that way, my friends rely upon me in that way. I am a safe place. That's one of my greatest qualities, is my safety that I provide. With that being said, I know that if a need comes up, if something serious happens, I'm going to get that call. And I know that I'm going to be right there, because I enjoy that. Because that's who I am. My heart, that's the way God made me. And I love that about me. But the wisdom in that is, even though I am safe for other people, I must hold myself accountable and create safety for myself. I must do that. And I don't know who is on this podcast that feels burnt out. You have reached the point of exhaustion and you feel like, I need and nobody sees me. I need and nobody hears me. Can I be honest with you? You're not taking care of you. A part of taking care of you is building relationships with people that you can trust. A part of taking care of you is saying no sometimes, even when your heart wants to say yes. That was always the hard one for me, because my heart always be like, do it, girl. Go on, do it, Quinny. Oh, no. And I've had to learn to be like, not today, but let's see, next week I may be able to do it. And it didn't even take anything away from that relationship or anything. It was like, wait a minute. It's okay if I take care of me. Because while I was doing all of the work, seeing everybody and listening to everybody, I was ignoring myself on the back end. And I've made changes for the better. My life is better as a result of that. And I believe that we all can grow and get better. But we gotta take care of ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to really treat self-care as more than just a spa day, more than just a vacation that we take once or twice a year. We got to find the things that we need that keep us going every single day. Self-care is about sustainability. And if you're going to keep up with being the awesome person that you are, you're going to have to implement some things that are unconventional as it relates to self-care. You're worn out. You're tired. It's because you're not taking care of yourself. And so I'm hoping that my vulnerability about self-care, about my journey and my process will help you. If we're going to be around to do the things that we love, to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish, to spend time with the people that we love, we got to take care of ourselves. We got to stop wearing ourselves out and beating ourselves down. We don't have to work ourselves to exhaustion. We don't have to show up to the point of exhaustion. No. What do you need? That's the question I want you asking yourself every day this week. What do I need? What do I need? And really answer yourself. And when you find the answer for what you need, implement it. Don't wait until you're exhausted. I need you to take care of yourself today, right now. And so if you don't remember anything else from this podcast, is that you need you and you need to take care of you. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of the Coach Therapy Podcast, where we get vulnerable so that we can reach clarity, healing, growth, and success. I'll talk to you next week. Have a great week.